Today we're going to try Papa John's new, God, I don't even want to say the name, Cuppy Roni pizza, which I believe is the real name for it. I'm going to show you something. We'll look on there, on the little tag on the box. You can see it says, this is a Cuppy Roni pizza, which I hate and is a stupid name, and I'll get into it later. But for now, we'll focus on actually reviewing the pizza before I go crazy and start ranting about Papa John's and fast food in general again. We'll start with the actual food so that everybody who wants to know how the pizza tastes can get out of here. So this is what it looks like. It looks really good. It's essentially just new cup pepperoni. That's what's here. They're featuring it on a new kind of menu. They have a cup pepperoni papadilla and a cup pepperoni papa bites, but you know, it's just the same things they always had. Just with cup pepperoni now, which I'm a fan of cup pepperoni. I love it. Also known as old world pepperoni. I don't know if Marco's originated that term, but that's kind of where I got it from and where I know it from. So that's what I usually call it, or just cup pepperoni, but I never call it Cuppy Ronis. I can't say I've ever said that. Even as a young child, would I refer to these as Cuppy Ronis. Now, I would forgive if a young child came up with that name, but I don't forgive Papa John's for coming up with that name, because it's really, really insane how childish and terrible that name is for a franchise like Papa John's. It's not like this is appealing to children, I don't think, but we'll get into that later. The other interesting thing, though, I want to mention, on the description for this, it said it came with a creamy tomato sauce base, which might be, from my understanding, that is different from their pizza sauce. I've been trying to do online research for the last like 10 minutes while I've been waiting for the pizza to cool down enough to eat it, and I could not really find this information. I was looking up ingredients on Papa John's. I looked up their sauces. Their regular sauce is not creamy, so I have to assume that this is a new sauce. And sorry about my voice. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if this is exactly a new sauce, but I'm 99.9% sure it is, because their sauce is not creamy. So I don't know exactly what they added to this. I assume that they just added cream, maybe kind of like a vodka sauce. Is that a New York thing, because it's supposed to be a New York pizza? I don't know. Let's just taste it. You know, for somebody who reviews food in their car all the time, I'm remarkably unprepared. I don't have any napkins, and they didn't give me any because they're a pizza place, so what can I do? I'm just going to have greasy fingers the rest of this review, I guess. But damn, that is good. I can't lie. I came into this with a little bit of righteous anger, and I'm still going to get into it. I'm still going to get into my rant, but as for the pizza itself, that was pretty delicious. I can't really argue with that. I actually do enjoy this sauce, this creamy sauce. I'm not sure how different it is from the regular sauce. I think I'd have to have them back to back to make a comparison. It's definitely different, but I'm not sensing anything that's making me not like it. Even though it's a creamy sauce, I'm not really tasting any sweetness, which I don't really like sweet sauces. I prefer a more savory sauce on my pizza. Sweet tomato sauce is not my style, and this is not sweet. I'm getting more of the focus on the pepperoni kind of spiciness, which is great. And the pepperonis themselves are really good. These are quality pepperonis. I can't really argue with this. Little Caesars put out their Fanceroni pepperoni. It's really good. I think these might, I don't know if these are the same pepperonis. I don't know where they get them from, but these feel a little spicier to me. Like, these have a little bit more of that pepperoni spice, which I greatly enjoy. These have more of a strong flavor of pepperoni, whereas the Little Caesar ones were kind of a little more generic. It's still a great pizza, but they weren't quite as sharp as these, and I do appreciate that. Like, overall, this is actually a good pizza experience that I would review highly, I guess. It's getting really hot in this car, but I'm going to... I might have to give this pizza a 5 out of 5 right before I talk trash about Papa John's, but this is really good. I mean, it's just a simple pizza, simple concept, cut pepperoni, a new sauce, but it all works together into a pizza that I greatly enjoyed. I was not expecting that when I came into this. I was kind of expecting, oh, it's another pizza from Papa John's, whatever, but I actually quite like this combination that they put together, simple combination, but quite good. So I'm going to give it a 5. I hate the name, but I'm not going to hurt them for it. I'll give the actual food a 5. But the fact that, luckily we live in the age of online ordering, because I just order it online and pick it up. But I imagine myself like picking up a phone and calling Papa John's and being like, hey, can I get a Cuppy Roni pizza? Like, what is going on? That's what I imagine in my mind. Like, what marketing executive came up with Cuppy Roni? Because it doesn't make sense. But anyway, 5 out of 5 for the Papa John's pizza, and I will see you all next time, unless you want to stick around for the rant, which will be coming up after this quick transition where I hit pause and then start over. All right, it's rant time. It might be a little windy. I had to roll down this window. Now that the review is over, rolling down the window. It might be a little noisy, but whatever. I just wanted to talk about, we'll get back to the name Cuppy Roni. That's what triggered this thought in me, and I kind of just, thoughts and thoughts. And I can't say, I'm a marketing executive. I can't say that I know these things. I don't really know. I can only come from a perspective of a consumer of the products, and probably, I don't know what you'd consider like an advanced consumer of the products. I don't know how they categorize people, but I'm somebody who's not a casual, engager. I engage hardcore with the actual products they're putting out. All these fast food places, essentially. And I'm just very confused by Cuppy Roni coming out as a name from Papa John's. And what it led me to realize is that Papa John's does not have an identity anymore. That's where this all led me down, and a lot of places don't have an identity anymore. That's what's really kind of hurting, I think, the fast food industry, besides the prices, is that none of these places really stand out anymore for what they do, partly because of the competition, but partly just because they're lazy and they don't adapt. There's no adaptation on the part of these big corporations, and I understand why that happens, because there's literally probably, I don't know, but I'm assuming multiple hundreds of people, have to sign off on the concept of Cuppy Roni before it even becomes a test item. You know what I'm saying? There's hundreds of employees getting paid money to work at Papa John's to filter these things through. There's paperwork, there's documentation, there's lawyers, marketers, all that crap, all the executives. There's a whole system in place, and that system, is a dinosaur, essentially. And it's really hurting these companies. And you can see it, and you see it with every company. It's not like it's new. The problem is that these companies are so established, places like Papa John's and like in the pizza market, Domino's, Pizza Hut. They've been around so long. It's like Coca-Cola. They've just been around. They're a staple. Everybody kind of knows them. They've heard the name. So there's not really, it feels like they don't feel like they need to compete on the same level as a startup or a like lower tier company. For example, like Little Caesars. This is just my perception, though. This is not true. Little Caesars is a huge corporation, but it feels like they have a system where they can innovate and make new products quickly, and cheaply and fast, and they know what they're doing, and that they have a good business model in place. Whereas Papa John's, Domino's, and Pizza Hut feel like they did that through the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, and then they just kind of have coasted ever since. And the reason being, they don't make as much money anymore. These franchises are just not as big as they were in the 90s because there's so much competition. It's not just me. Most people would prefer to just order a pizza from a local place if they're going to order. Or if not, they're going to get a frozen pizza or a grocery store pizza or something like that. There's plenty of good grocery store pizzas now that are, $9-10 that compete and are better than Domino's and Pizza Hut sometimes. And that situation has just led to Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's just sitting on their laurels and not really doing anything. And with the Papa John's situation, see, they had an identity in Papa John, but they were already losing it before, but after he was gone, it was clear that now there's no direction. They haven't done anything interesting or unique really since then. They've introduced papadillas, which are just, a ghetto calzone. They're good. The taste is okay. The taste is there. It's just there's nothing new. It's just the same exact thing, just folded over into a calzone. The same thing Taco Bell does. nowadays, where they used to have more innovative items. Now, occasionally you'll get something new, but for the most part, it's the same crap. And it's the same situation with Domino's and Pizza Hut and Papa John's. There's been no innovation in the pizza business in many, many, many years. Like, it feels like the last thing that was really, like, new for pizza was probably stuffed crust. Like, I can't think of anything that hit the culture that big since stuffed crust. Has there been any pizza innovation since stuffed crust that anybody really cares about? I don't think so. I think everybody's just looking for a good pizza. They don't want gimmicks necessarily, unless they're new. See, that's the problem, is that there's no new gimmicks. Like, if you want to market on gimmicks, you got to go like Little Caesars. They know what they're doing. They put out constantly new products that are actually kind of new and interesting. Even though they're using the same ingredients, they come up with ideas, you know, like the Batman pizza, things like that. They at least try to kind of innovate, or the pretzel crust and things like that, to get people in the door. But Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's, what do? They come out with new pizzas all the time, but they're not new. Like this. This is not a new pizza. It's just a different version of a pepperoni pizza, which is great, but it's not gonna draw people in. Like, I wouldn't have even gone to get Papa John's if I wasn't gonna make this video, even though I'm a fast food person, because I feel like Papa John's is generally a waste of money. Unless there's a good deal, I don't want to go there and spend my money on Papa John's when I can, get a local pizza place, which is going to be a little bit better and a little bit bigger for the same price. There's no competition. That's essentially the problem. And since they're all franchises and things like that, it becomes kind of almost even a worse situation, where they can't even compete with the local businesses because they're on this national guideline. I mean, they can change their prices a little bit, but they can't innovate at a local level necessarily. Like, a local Papa John's can't come up with their own local item because they're a franchise. They're Papa John's, whereas the local restaurants can do whatever they want because they're owned by, whatever, the owner, not a huge corporation. So I don't know how to solve these problems. It just feels like the stagnation has been coming for so long. You can feel all of these big companies have just been, rolling, just coasting, just trying to raise prices and get as much money as possible in the short term for, I guess, executive payouts or whatever. But none of them are actually thinking about long-term visions. It really doesn't feel like that. Maybe a year out is what they're thinking, but it feels like 10 years from now, like, what is Papa John's going to do? Because, like, the last 10 years has just been a slow decline. Same with Pizza Hut and Domino's, as far as I know. It's just a slow death. There's no coming back. I don't feel like they're fighting to become bigger anymore. They're just existing to be a line item. I don't really understand how it all works. As I said, it's a huge corporation, so they can't be flexible, but they need to be, which is a problem. So maybe they'll figure that out one day. I don't know. For now, I'm in front of a graveyard right now. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm gonna get out of this graveyard, go home, and eat the rest of this pizza, because it is a really good pizza. Like, honestly, you might want to go get it if you're interested. But it feels kind of bad. Like, I honestly feel a little bad and a little sad giving Papa John's my money, because it's just like, it feels like a dead corporation. Even though it's a good pizza, it's like, whatever, I feel better about going to a local place and buying a pizza, a pickup special for $15 that's really good and cooked, by hand, versus Papa John's. But whatever, that's my rant about corporations again, this video, and I will have a couple new videos coming up soon. I got a couple things in the pipeline. I've got donkey sauce. I've got Guy Fieri's donkey sauce, so check that out. That'll be coming in the next couple days, or tomorrow or soon. And some Nashville hot Fritos, so we'll have those coming up. I don't know when, but within the next couple days, or within the week for sure. So see you next time.